My cousin crashed my engagement party to announce her own proposal, then asked to share my wedding date to save money. So I did this with her save the date cards, and now her fiancé left her. I, female 28, need advice about my cousin, female 26, who crashed my engagement party, then demanded to share my wedding date. Throwaway because family members use Reddit and I'm freaking out right now. Sorry for how long this is. I've been lurking on this sub for years but never thought I'd be posting here. So I've been with my fiancé Zachary, male 30, for 5 years now. We met in college and have had a pretty drama-free relationship until now. He proposed last Thanksgiving during my family dinner, which I thought was perfect. My mom Jo later said it lacked originality, but whatever, I loved it. We've been saving for our wedding for almost 3 years now, skipping vacations, living in a smaller apartment than we'd prefer, etc. I'm a second-grade teacher at a public school. Love my job, even though the pay is and Zachary is a software engineer at a mid-sized tech company. So we're doing okay, but definitely not rich or anything. Anyway, the issue is with my cousin Sabrina. We grew up only 2 years apart and were actually really close as little kids, but things started getting weird in our teens. Basically, she developed this pattern of copying everything I did and then trying to one-up me. I know how that sounds, but I swear I'm not being paranoid. Some examples. When I made honor roll in 8th grade, she suddenly became obsessed with school. She literally told me she thought studying was for losers like a month before. When I got accepted to my dream university for education, she applied to the same school despite never mentioning interest in it before. When I started dating Zachary, she suddenly needed to meet him right away and would touch his arm and laugh at everything he said at family gatherings. It was so obvious my brother even noticed, and he notices nothing. I have like a million more examples, but you get the idea. So we planned our engagement party for Memorial Day weekend at my parents' lake house. We invited close friends and family, including her mom, Sharon, my mom's sister. But I deliberately didn't invite Sabrina. I know that probably sounds petty, but I just wanted one special day without her trying to make it about her. I barely know anything about her boyfriend Tyler, male, 29, except they've been dating for like 8 months, and he works in finance or something. Our wedding is planned for September 23rd at this beautiful vineyard. We've already paid a huge non-refundable deposit that basically wiped out our savings. We're slowly rebuilding it now. So the engagement party day comes, and everything is going great until I see Sabrina walk in with Tyler. She's wearing this insanely fancy dress, way more dressed up than anyone else, and I immediately felt sick. I whispered to Zachary, "What is she doing here?" but decided to just be civil because making a scene would only make things worse. My dad gives this really sweet toast about how happy he is for us. As everyone raises their glasses, Sabrina interrupts and announces that Tyler just proposed while flashing a diamond ring. The weird thing was Tyler looked confused for a second before smiling and nodding. Everyone immediately shifted attention to her and started congratulating them. My mom tried to redirect attention back to me and Zachary, but Sabrina spent the rest of the party talking about wedding plans and showing off her ring. Later, I overheard Tyler's sister Caitlin telling someone that Tyler had bought a ring but hadn't actually proposed yet. So basically, Sabrina saw our engagement party as the perfect opportunity to announce an engagement that hadn't even happened. I was so upset but tried to just enjoy the rest of our party. Then 2 weeks later, Sabrina texts me asking if we could share the September 23rd wedding date. She said it would save everyone money on travel and be special to be dual brides. I politely said no and explained we already booked all our vendors and designed our invitations. She immediately called me selfish and has been sending really mean texts. She even got her mom involved, who called my mom, saying I was being difficult and inconsiderate of family. Some of my family members are telling me to just give in like always to keep the peace. Am I being unreasonable for wanting my own wedding day? I feel like I'm going crazy here. Edit. Holy crap, this blew up. Thank you everyone for the validation. To answer some common questions. 1. No, Tyler and Sabrina are not officially engaged as far as I know. Based on what I overheard, he bought a ring but hadn't proposed yet. She just saw my engagement party and decided to announce it anyway. Tyler seemed surprised but went along with it. Major red flag for him, to be honest. 2. Several people asked if this behavior is normal for Sabrina. Unfortunately, yes. When I got my first teaching job, she suddenly decided she wanted to work with kids too and applied to be a substitute at my school. She quit after 2 weeks. When I cut my hair short in college, She got the exact same haircut the next day. It's been a lifelong pattern. 3. Yes, Zachary knows about all this and is equally confused, annoyed. He thinks we should just ignore her and proceed with our plans, but he's not the one getting constant texts from family members about how I'm tearing the family apart over a silly date. 4. No, we absolutely cannot change our date. We would lose our deposit, which was almost $8,000, and September 23rd is special to us because it's the anniversary of our first date. Edit 2. For those asking about what Sabrina's fiancé thinks, I honestly have no idea. I barely know Tyler. He seems nice enough the few times I've met him, but I can't imagine he's okay with sharing a wedding date with his fiancé's cousin. I'm so confused about why this is even happening. Now for the first update. So, a lot has happened since my last post, like a lot. First, thank you guys so much for all the comments and support. It honestly helped me feel less crazy because my family has been making me doubt myself for years about Sabrina's behavior. And yes, I showed some of your comments to Zachary, who was like, "See, I told you you're not overreacting." Okay, so where to even start? I guess the biggest update is that Sabrina has literally booked a venue in the same city for September 23rd, the same date as my wedding. I'm not kidding. I found out in the weirdest way too. I was at the dentist last week getting a filling, which I've been putting off forever because I hate the dentist, but I cracked a tooth on a popcorn kernel. Ugh. And my dental hygienist was making small talk while waiting for the dentist. When I mentioned our vineyard venue, she told me she just went to a wedding at Riverview Gardens recently and thought it was pretty. Then she mentioned her friend's cousin got lucky with a cancellation for September 23rd. I asked who was getting married at Riverview on that date, and she said it was someone named Sabrina. Her friend had shown her the save the date because of its cute design. I almost passed out right there in the dentist chair. But wait, it gets worse. Like way worse. My phone started blowing up with calls from family members who were confused about receiving save the date cards from Sabrina that mentioned a double wedding weekend celebration with me and Zachary. I'm not even joking. She sent out cards telling people we were having a joint wedding. My great-aunt Pamela called me practically in tears because she didn't know if she needed to buy 2 wedding gifts or if her arthritis could handle attending 2 ceremonies in one weekend. I felt so bad for her because she was genuinely stressed about it. I can't even believe I'm typing this, but then I found out Sabrina contacted our venue pretending to be my wedding coordinator and tried to change details of our booking. The venue owner called me to confirm some requests, and I was like, I haven't requested any changes. Apparently someone, Sabrina, called asking about adding 75 guests to our head count and changing our color scheme. What the actual hell? The most concerning part is that Tyler seems to have no idea what's really going on. I ran into him at Kroger 3 weeks ago, before I knew about the save the date stuff, and he thanked me for agreeing to share the wedding day. He seemed genuinely grateful and mentioned that Sabrina really looked up to me. I completely froze and didn't correct him because I was so shocked. I just mumbled something and escaped to the frozen food aisle. I seriously regret not saying something now. Actually, I hid behind the ice cream freezers until I was sure he had checked out because I'm a coward, apparently. So after finding out about the save the dates, I finally called Sabrina. I asked her why she was sending out save the dates for a double wedding when I never agreed to share our date. She was super casual about it, saying she meant to tell me and that she took initiative because I was being difficult. When I told her she needed to call everyone and explain her mistake, she accused me of being selfish and always wanting attention. The call got worse from there, with her claiming I was jealous of Tyler's proposal and me pointing out that he hadn't even proposed at my engagement party. She eventually called me a spiteful bitch and hung up. That's pretty much word for word. I was shaking so hard after that call I had to take one of Zachary's anxiety pills. Don't worry, he said it was okay. Then my cousin Greg forwarded me a group text where Sabrina told everyone that I had agreed to the shared wedding but was being difficult about details. She's literally lying to our entire family. And it gets even worse because Zachary's family also received these save the dates. His mom called asking if we changed our plans, and his sister texted me asking about coordinating bridesmaid dresses with Sabrina's colors. I wanted to scream. After talking with Zachary for like 3 straight nights about this, we decided Tyler deserves to know the truth before he potentially marries someone this dishonest. So I made a plan, which might have been crossing a line, but I'm desperate. I collected 18 of Sabrina's save the date cards from family members, compiled screenshots of our texts showing I never agreed to share the date, and wrote a letter explaining everything to Tyler. I included the part about her pretending to be my wedding coordinator and trying to change our venue details. I tried to be as factual and non-emotional as possible, but I did tell him that I'm worried about him not knowing the full picture before marriage. I sent the package to his office address, found it on LinkedIn, 3 days ago so Sabrina wouldn't intercept it. I've temporarily blocked Sabrina's number because I know she's going to absolutely lose it when Tyler confronts her. Am I horrible for doing this? I don't know what else to do. This is our day that we've been saving for and planning for years. Zachary supports me, but he's worried about how this will affect our actual wedding day with all the family issues. I'm literally losing sleep over this. My mom thinks I'm overreacting, as usual, and says I should just go with it because that's how Sabrina is. But I refuse to share my wedding day. I've given in to her on so many things over the years, but this is my line in the sand. Edit. Some people are asking if we can change our date to avoid the problem. No. We already paid $8,000 non-refundable deposit, our invitations are printed, and our families have booked travel. Plus September 23rd is our anniversary. Why should we change our plans because my cousin is being psychotic? Edit 2. For those asking why I haven't cut contact with Sabrina before this, it's complicated. Our moms are sisters and super close, and my mom has always made excuses for Sabrina's behavior. She just admires you, or imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Family gatherings happen at least monthly, and it's basically impossible to avoid her without causing a huge rift. But honestly, after this, I'm done. Edit 3. Several people have asked if Tyler and Sabrina are actually engaged now. From what I understand, yes, he did officially propose to her about a month after our engagement party, on her birthday. But I'm pretty sure he has no idea about all this wedding date insanity. When I saw him at the grocery store, he seemed genuinely grateful that I was willing to share the date, which makes me think Sabrina told him I agreed to it. Edit 4. To the people saying I should just give Sabrina the wedding date and reschedule mine, are you serious? This is exactly the enabling behavior that has made her think this kind of stuff is acceptable. I've spent my entire life just giving in to keep the peace with her, and I'm done doing that. Now for the second update. Okay, so I can't believe how much has happened in just over a week. My life has changed a lot since my last post. I'm actually writing this from my parents' guest bedroom because, well, I'll get to that. First, thank you all so much for the support on my last post. I was honestly feeling really confused dealing with all this wedding stuff with Sabrina, and reading your comments made me realize I wasn't overreacting. So, 8 days ago, I sent that package to Tyler with all the evidence of Sabrina's wedding hijacking. I wasn't sure if he'd even open it or if Sabrina would somehow intercept it. I was so nervous after sending it that I couldn't eat dinner that night, which never happens. I love food, lol. 5 days after sending it, I got an email from Tyler. I was in the middle of a virtual parent-teacher conference when I saw his name pop up in my inbox. I kept my professional teacher face on while talking to Mrs. Rodriguez about her son's reading progress, but inside I was freaking out. As soon as the meeting ended, I grabbed my phone to read it. Tyler's email was, wow. He thanked me for sending him the information and said he'd actually been having concerns about Sabrina's truthfulness for a while. He confirmed what I suspected. He never proposed at my engagement party. He had bought a ring and was planning to propose during their upcoming vacation to Cabo, which was supposed to be next month. He said he was surprised when she announced their engagement at my party, but went along with it to avoid making a scene. He wrote that he figured he'd sort it out later since he was planning to propose anyway. But here's the really messed up part. Tyler found out Sabrina had charged thousands of dollars in wedding deposits to his credit card without telling him. He only discovered it when he was checking his statements after getting my package. Who does that? He ended the email saying he needed time to process everything, but would be having a serious conversation with Sabrina. I felt so bad for him. He seemed like a genuinely nice guy caught up in Sabrina's craziness. Anyway, I didn't hear anything for 2 days, and I was checking my email like every 10 minutes. Then finally I got another email from Tyler with the subject line, "It's over." My heart was pounding as I opened it. He told me about his confrontation with Sabrina. He showed her the package I sent with all the save the dates. She immediately claimed I was making everything up out of jealousy, typical Sabrina. Then he showed her the screenshots of our texts where I clearly never agreed to share the date. She flipped it around and accused him of betraying her by communicating with me behind her back. When he asked why she told everyone he proposed when he hadn't, she said she was just accelerating their timeline because she knew he had a ring. Then he confronted her about the charges on his credit card, and she insisted it was just to hold the date and she would pay him back. But here's the craziest part. He found out Sabrina had quit her job 3 months ago, but was still pretending to go to work every day. She would get dressed in her work clothes, leave the apartment, and then, I don't know what she was doing all day. According to Tyler, Sabrina eventually broke down crying and admitted she was tired of me always having everything perfect, which is hilarious because my life is far from perfect, and she knows it. I've been struggling with anxiety for years. My car is super old, and I had to take on extra tutoring work this year just to afford our modest wedding. But Sabrina thinks I'm living some amazing life she needs to copy. Tyler broke off the engagement, took back the ring, and has completely cut contact with her. I have mixed feelings about this. I'm relieved that he escaped what would have probably been a really difficult marriage, but I feel guilty about my role in the breakup. But what was I supposed to do? Let her lie to everyone and take our wedding date. But wait, there's more. God, I wish this was all made up. 2 days ago, Sabrina showed up at our apartment at like 11 p.m. She was pounding on our door really hard. When I opened it, she was drunk and crying. She immediately started screaming that I ruined everything and was always jealous of her. Our neighbors started opening their doors to see what was happening. Zachary tried to ask her to lower her voice, which just made her scream louder. She accused me of stealing Tyler and always getting everything I wanted, which makes no sense because I've been with Zachary for 5 years and have zero interest in Tyler. Then she revealed that she'd been lying about her job for months because she got fired and was too embarrassed to tell anyone. I suggested maybe she should talk to someone professional about her competitive behavior with me. That made her even angrier. She finally left after threatening to make me pay at the wedding, which is why we're now at my parents' house and why we've hired security for our wedding, which is an expense we definitely didn't plan for. Ugh. The family has completely divided over this. My Aunt Sharon, Sabrina's mom, and a few relatives are claiming I was vindictive for contacting Tyler. But most of the family is on my side after learning the full story, especially my dad, who called Sabrina's behavior completely unacceptable, which is strong language for him. He's usually super non-confrontational. Sabrina tried to post vague stuff on social media about toxic family members and how some people will stab you in the back. But it backfired when Tyler commented with his side of the story, including the part about the unauthorized credit card charges. She deleted the post within an hour, but not before several family members saw it. Our wedding is still proceeding as planned for September 23rd. We've hired security just in case Sabrina tries to show up. Zachary has been amazing through all of this. He keeps reminding me that this isn't my fault and that I didn't create this situation. Tyler actually sent us a wedding gift, a nice serving platter from our registry. His note basically said, "I saved him from a potentially difficult marriage and wished us happiness. I hope he finds someone who doesn't charge thousands of dollars to his credit card without permission and lie about their job." Sabrina has moved back in with her parents and is telling people that I manipulated Tyler. Sharon called my mom yesterday and said I ruined Sabrina's life, which made me cry for like 2 hours. Sometimes I question if I took things too far by sending that package to Tyler, but then Zachary reminds me that I didn't create the situation. I just exposed the truth. And sometimes setting boundaries with family is necessary, even when it hurts. I don't think I'll be posting any more updates unless something really crazy happens. Please, God, no. Thank you all for the support through this nightmare. I just want to enjoy my wedding day and move forward with my life. Edit. So many people are asking why Sabrina got fired from her job. I literally have no idea. She worked in marketing at some startup and always talked about how much they valued her, so it was surprising to hear she wasn't working there anymore. My guess is either they downsized or her lying caught up with her there too. Edit 2. To the people saying I should have just talked to Sabrina directly instead of contacting Tyler, I did. I called her about the save the dates, and she called me a spiteful bitch and hung up on me. Then she told everyone I had agreed to share the date but was being difficult about details. What exactly was I supposed to do at that point? Edit 3. Several people have asked if we're still inviting Sabrina's parents to the wedding. Yes, we are. family politics. But we've made it very clear to them that Sabrina is not welcome. My mom actually stood up to her sister for once and said if they bring Sabrina, they'll all be asked to leave. I'm kind of proud of my mom, to be honest. That couldn't have been easy for her. Edit 4. For those concerned about our safety, we're only staying at my parents' temporarily until things calm down. We have a good security system at our apartment and have already talked to building management about not letting Sabrina in under any circumstances. And yes, we're documenting everything in case we need a restraining order, which I really hope we don't.